Happy holidays and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for liking and subscribing below. I wanted to talk to you today about cellular memory. What a lot of people don't necessarily know, and some people actually are going to be already doing what I'm going to be talking about, but maybe not consciously. This video might help them to recognize something pretty remarkable about themselves. Great healers, and I mean every form of healer, conventional, holistic, psychic healers who really have the, quick and exact ability to make significant change. And I really believe the individual changes themselves and heals themselves. But when you have a really good transformer of energy working with you, it just makes the job a lot easier, makes it fun, interesting, and you change your perception about something really, really profoundly when you heal. And it doesn't just have to be that you're healing something physical. Obviously, all things that have physical uh, aspects in our body, a health issue, serious or not so serious, has an emotional component. In energy medicine, every chakra has a significant emotional aspect to it, and every chakra governs a huge aspect of your anatomy and physiology. So the emotions really are the main situation that needs to change in order to create health and healing. And how that really occurs is through the healer or your doctor, your acupuncturist, your massage therapist, your partner, your friend, whoever's, helping you through a health issue or even a serious emotional issue. What's changing is happening at the cellular level. And some people, really good healers, however you want to define that word, communicate to the cells, talk to them consciously or unconsciously. Something that I didn't even realize I was doing, even way before I studied anatomy and physiology. I've always been someone who talks to cells. I really do love everything on a molecular level. I love subatomic particles. So it makes sense to me that I've been talking to cells all of my life before I even really knew what was inside a cell, a human cell. So if you have a body part that's problematic or it's been causing you problems, serious health issues or chronic ones, I would encourage you to Google the cells for that part of the body. There are trillions of cells in your body, and hundreds of them are being recreated every single day. So we're in constant cellular shifting and reorganizing, potentially shifting the way a cell's been operating so that it can be something healthier for it. In fact, whenever someone's being diagnosed with a disease and the doctors are going to do a biopsy, it doesn't mean that it's even going to be like a cancer, because you can diagnose all kinds of things when you look at the cells. The cells are going to change. They're going to go into some sort of dysplasia where they don't look like the way they're meant to look in their normal healthy state. They're metamorphing. So we really want the cells to revert back to their healthier state. It could be something as simple as sending more light into a cell so that the mitochondria, which are an important part of the human cell structure, that eats toxins that are in the body that move into the cell. It eats toxins and recycles them. It could be something as simple as that needs to occur in, millions of cells in the body to stop a disease process that's occurring or prevent a disease process that's moving into the body. But whatever the situation is, if you start talking to yourself, so let's say you have had some heart issues, maybe you have AFib or VFib, or you have tachycardia, or you've got some clotting issues going on with your arteries. Let's just imagine that someone's maybe having some cardiac issues. And so we kind of need to know what those cardiac cells are doing. So luckily, there isn't a ton of different cells per organ. I mean, there could be 2 to 6 or 8 different cells, like the bones have a lot of different cells that are doing a lot of different activities. And it makes sense. It's the structure of your physical form. So learning what the osteoblasts do and the osteoclasts of your bones are doing can help you have that conversation that I'm talking about. Because once you understand what the cells are doing, you can start having a conversation with them. And the conversation does not need to be pleading It just means to be like, oh, good job. I love the way that you were, lining the bones with your ability to add more calcium and phosphorus, whatever the cells are doing. And because there aren't that many cells, I think the bones have the most cellular components, from what I recall. But because there aren't that many cells per organ or per structure of the body, it's not really hard to study or learn. And one of the things the cardiac cells are doing is they're moving, oxygen into certain body parts. They're helping with the transmission of blood into the cardiac muscle. They're doing all kinds of beautiful things, helping the heart just have this natural, beating occurring in your body. So once you know what the cells are doing, I want you to start talking to them, because cells are, so they're really kind of open creatures. They have to be open. There's a membrane that surrounds them, and information can go through the membrane when the cell is healthy, where it allows cool and interesting and powerful information to move into it so that it operates really well, and it allows toxins or impurities to move out of the cell wall. And when people become ill or even have chronic, maybe not serious conditions, but chronic conditions, that means there's something going on with the cells. They're not allowing the membrane to be permeable in the way that would make it super healthy. So toxins aren't leaving, powerful knowledge isn't coming through. So you can talk to your cells whenever you want to. I would Google what the cells do, and I would start talking to your body and the cellular action that body part needs. Because remember, everything's happening at a very minute molecular level. Even though when someone is diagnosed with a disease, it sounds so big. It's like this whole organ isn't functioning anymore. Well, what if we start talking to the cells, and the cells start telling the organ how to function, and then the organ starts to function correctly? That's what healers do. That's what really great doctors do. Even if they're not aware of it, they're having a mental telepathic conference with the cells of that patient's body, which is allowing the patient to have incredible healing and expansion, which then leads to perception, because there's always going to be an emotional reason why someone stopped communicating healthy information to their cells, or why the cells stopped operating in a super powerful, healthy way. So that's one beautiful thing that you can start doing. When I do this anyway, even though I do all of my sessions online now, but when I would lay my hands on my clients, I would immediately start talking to the cells. And once the cells know that you can talk to them, or that you will, because you always can, they start talking to you. That's how we can effortlessly diagnose individuals. They start talking to us, and they don't speak in sad or angry or annoyed voices. They are very, hi, how's it going? Yeah, I'd love to do this again. And then you start talking to it about how it could, and help it to reprogram and go back to its original state of, balance and perfection. So that's one thing that happens when we look at cellular memory. I will be teaching an advanced course in the Shift Network in February, all about cellular memory. And of course, we're going to talk about different anatomical parts of the body and how those cells function for, the interesting aspects of human anatomy and physiology. But there's another aspect of cellular memory too. Trillions of cells. You're in physical form. You're actually a being of light who's decided to come into the physical reality and have a physical experience. So whether in a previous lifetime you've experienced certain things or not, actually doesn't matter. So let's say you really want to use your psychic ability in this lifetime, like it's so important for you. You would love to be clairvoyant or clairsentient or clairaudient, or all three, which we call knowingness and the psychic realm. And you truly want that. And you can feel that you've had past life information about it. And you just want that to come through in your current physical reality and have the full meal deal experience. Well, you can't, because all that information is in your cells. All of it is. Any lifetime you've had, the great things that you learned from that lifetime, all of that is in your cellular memory. Now, what if you want what I just described, psychic abilities, but you don't recall or don't have that feeling that you've had a significant lifetime with psychic awareness? That doesn't matter, because you're in human form, you have human cells. And so anything that's happened in the human world is also inside your cellular memory. Like whales, I believe they hold the cellular memory of everything that's happened on Earth in what I call a library. And they circle the globe, collecting information and putting that into their DNA and RNA and cellular ancestry. It's very cool and interesting. And I think the whales, when they leave Earth, transmit that information from their perception to the heavens, because there's always research being done about how we can help humanity to progress and grow and change, while we also celebrate the way we are, just exactly the way we are right now, with little expectation of change, which is also very nice. So what if we shift the vibration of your body so we can get that information to come out of the cell wall and start to move into fluids in your body and into your tissues? Because you have, in a way, greater access to your tissues. You're constantly connecting with your tissues. They're right underneath the skin. You have fascia and muscles connected all through your body. And in many ways, you're communicating with that whole lot more consciously than you are yourselves, because we're picking up things and moving our body, walking, talking, breathing. We're doing a lot of tissue, muscle, fascia activity more consciously. And people do talk to their muscles a lot more, like, oh, we got to open this jar, or we have to pick up this book, or I need to bend down as I, navigate a complicated garage or something of that nature. So we're talking to our muscles and our tissues and our fascia all the time, whether we recognize it or not, because we're navigating our body through interesting experiences, getting in and out of a car, riding a bike. We're in constant mental telepathic communication with our tissues. So we want to get that cellular memory out of the cell, since we're not talking to ourselves very often, but that might change after this video, and into the tissue spaces. So let's say, for example, something fun about cellular memory. Quite a long time ago, when Persia was, the most populated place for human life on Earth, there were many, many mystery schools that were in pyramids. And the mystery schools were places where teachers of psychic phenomena lived and taught young children who were naturally gifted and talented how to use their psychic gifts in the world. Of course, this was a long time ago. There were different reasons why these children were taught to use their psychic gifts. Now, these children were identified usually from their midwives, or probably, what we call today doulas, who were present at their birth. And one of the ways to identify if a child is psychic back in the day was perhaps the placenta wasn't off their face when they were born, or there could be like a hematoma or some sort of interesting pulsating energy, or an actual like vein or bruise on their third eye. But there were specific ways that a doula or a midwife, or even parents, would identify that their child was gifted psychically. And then the doulas or the parents would inform people who could connect to these teachers who taught young people into adulthood how to be successful psychics. Because it wasn't really that long ago when psychics were just as popular as they are today and were utilized throughout the world. Seers is what we call them, or wizards, witches, things of that nature. So once that was identified, the teachers of these seeing schools would venture into the villages and ask the parents if they could interview their child, which could have been just days old or months old, depending on how long it took for them to get that information from the midwife. And they would test the infant. And in what ways, I'm not sure, but I'm sure they had telltale ways to determine the awareness and the consciousness, because really psychic ability is about awareness and consciousness. It's about being present. Infants are very present creatures. And if the instructor believed that the child was indeed gifted, they would ask the parents if the child could be raised in one of the mystery schools. And the mystery schools existed in pyramids. The children were taught at the dead of night. They would play outside in the darkness and learn during the dead of night, and they would sleep during the day, hidden in the pyramids, because as you can imagine, their skill set was vast, and they were, Charles is coming in, having a visit from Charles, and they were sought after commodities. And so they had to be protected and kept secret until maybe a monarch wanted to, I'm sure, purchase them or pay for them, or I don't know what the negotiations were during that time period, so that they could work for them. And they could help prevent wars or help win wars, and create great marriages, make great business decisions. They were utilized 24/7 once they were out in the world working. So the parents would never see these children again. Maybe when they became adults, I'm not really sure, but they were cared for. And sometimes some of the villagers were poor and didn't have enough resources to care for all their children. And so they would release them off to these instructors who would teach them the craft that they were naturally born with. So we're going to do a little exercise. Do not do this driving. We're going to do, or using dangerous machinery. Like if you're cutting down your Christmas tree right now, do not do this exercise. We're going to do just a little vibrational exercise to allow the alignment to the Egyptian mystery schools. Okay, are you ready? So go ahead and close your eyes and rotate your eyeballs upward underneath your eyelids for a few belly breaths. This will help you to connect to the subconscious mind, and to take several breaths while you do that. And then put your hand on your belly and relax your eyeballs. It can be anywhere underneath your eyelids. And wiggle your toes for like half a minute. At the same time you're doing that, really allow yourself to feel your hands. Like my hands feel really warm on my belly, like it was a little hot. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Your body is going to help distract you from your thinking, which is not a great way to access insight, and help you to get more connected to the lower half of your body, which is where all the magic is. Good. And then I'd love for you to just visualize, whether you hear it, see it, or feel it, trillions of cells vibrating throughout your entire body. I mean, cells are real things that can only be seen with a microscope. Of course, they're very, very, very tiny. I want you to visualize, hear, see, or feel creatively trillions of cells all over your body. This is going to help gain access to your being. Visualization is so important with psychic work, energy work, and consciousness. If you allow yourself to experience it, then you're actually really creating it. Good. And then I'd love for you to imagine that there's teeny tiny pyramids in all of these cells, or whatever cells you're experiencing. And within the vibration of these pyramids, it's just a beautiful image that your cell is holding, whether you lived during that time period or not, or whether you had, impressive psychic experiences or not in previous lifetimes. Doesn't matter, because it happened on Earth. You're in physical form. Your cells are aligned to everything that happened on Earth. And then we're going to ask for the image, whether we hear it, see it, or feel it, of the pyramid to move through the cellular wall. And we're saying to it, as we're creatively experiencing this, allow it to happen. Make it happen with your mind. This is what makes your mind wonderful. Imagine that it's moving through the cellular wall. It's just kind of leaking out, whole and delicious and excited. And now all the energy from the mystery schools that you're allowing yourself to experience through a visualization or a hearing or a feeling of pyramids is now breaking down and moving into all of your tissues. And just visualize it, hear it, feel it, imagine it. This is powerful. Imagination is powerful. Allow it to move into all of your tissues, where it's going to be licked up by the fascia and the muscles in your body. It's being released. This information is being released. And perhaps say to yourself, what if I am incredibly psychic? Very good. And I would keep note of what's going to happen, what might be happening in the next couple of weeks. If you start to notice more intuitive impressions, I would do this exercise often if it made you happy and you got your energy up. Anything that makes you happy and elevates your energy is worth doing it many, many times. Vibration is incredibly important. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Bye.